Hello to all the viewers. My name is Keresia Chikowe. I'm a colon cancer survivor. I've been in remission for about 4 years now. Yes, I was diagnosed in 2017. And I went through the treatment through chemotherapy. It wasn't an easy journey, but I'm here today. And while I was recovering from cancer, I decided to start an organization to offer psychosocial support, because that's the thing that I realized was a gap within the management of cancer patients and support for their families and caregivers. Second Chance was launched in 2019 on the 2nd of November. And Dr. Nyakabao was one of the guests who was there to launch Second Chance. And since we launched Second Chance, we had an opportunity to go for an outreach program with Dr. Nyakabao and a team from Cancer Save to go and offer some of the services that we could offer. Our partnership with Cancer Save is such that we complement each other's efforts. Cancer Save being more of the technocrats, Second Chance offering psychosocial support, filling up the gaps. As you know, with Cancer Save, Doc, you also offer psychosocial support services, but their major thrust, like she said, they try to source medication for the less privileged so that everybody has an opportunity to get treatment despite their social status.
As a cancer survivor, what are some of the myths and misconceptions that makes cancer patients go to the hospital very, very late? You have gone through that, and you've also met some of these people when you offer social service support.
There are so many reasons why people really don't seek early treatment. There are myths and misconceptions about cancer. Number one, people think that you are bewitched. Number two, they actually think that the moment you're diagnosed with cancer, you will be dead in a short time.
Oh, you thought you were bewitched?
I didn't think like that I was bewitched. Yeah. For me, fortunately, I'd worked in a few health institutions. Although I had not studied a lot about cancer, what I knew about cancer was that cancer is a disease that affects the cells, and they begin to multiply in a random way, which is not a pattern which they're supposed to. And I also knew that there are factors, risk factors, regarding, someone getting cancer. It could be hereditary, it could be the diet, it could be exposure to chemicals, and so on and so forth. It took me a bit of time to actually seek medical treatment. Okay. Robbie, people always say, you never understand until you get to the situation. It took me a bit of time, really a bit of time, to actually seek for medical help. But when I got the medical help, and Doc spoke about treatment plan, because each and every patient is different. Their makeup is different. So they always come up with a treatment plan. And when I was diagnosed, the physician quickly put up a team of doctors that had to manage my treatment. And I'm happy to say the surgery went on well. And I went through my chemotherapy, and I managed to get into remission. I want to believe that I'm fully recovered. But as a cancer patient, as a cancer survivor, that's why we talk about survivorship. You continue to work towards survival. This is what we are doing. As Second Chance, we continue to give people hope after adversity, to say, fine, you've gone through cancer, you have had cancer, or you're still going through treatment, But life goes on. You can still work, you can still do other things, you can make yourself financially sound. It's not a death sentence. It's just like somebody's got hypertension or diabetes.
Yes. And when you talk to some of these women who are cancer patients, what are some of the challenges that they say they face?
Most women cancer patients, number one, they face stigma, especially when we look at cervical cancer. I'm sure Doc will agree with me. It's not something that you can talk about because of where the part of the body where it is. So the women face a lot of stigma, and with all cancers, people face stigma because when you get cancer, sometimes your hair will fall off, it begins to thin, your skin will change, your eyes will change because of the toxins that are produced by the tumors that will be in your body. You can actually get a misdiagnosis and people think that you're HIV positive when you've got cancer, just like diabetes. So women suffer a lot of that. In most cases, they can either be labeled to be loose. Why do you look like that? Yet somebody hasn't found out what has happened to the person. And then the other challenge that women face is of managing their households. You are doing chemotherapy, you're going through chemotherapy, or you have had breast cancer. October is breast cancer month. Your breast has been amputated. Medically, I'm sure Doc will confirm that. The moment your breast is taken out, whether it's the left or the right, it means the performance of the body has been compromised. People would still expect the woman to go kutsime, to do this and that, all those chores, yet the body is under a lot of pressure. A second chance, we advocate for family members to understand that when someone is going through cancer, when somebody has been diagnosed with cancer, their immune system drastically falls. It drastically falls, and the muscles of their body, they get a lot of pressure from the intravenous treatment that the doctor was talking about. And then we also realize that statistically, most women are abandoned by their spouses when they fall sick. And even when you're going through chemotherapy, like in this pandemic, the COVID pandemic, you can still get COVID. And people expect you as a mother or as a wife or as a woman to continue saving. There's one person that Second Chance is offering psychosocial support. She's got an 8-year-old daughter. That's the oldest. She was on chemotherapy and she got COVID. And she was supposed to manage the home, and everybody in that home had COVID. But she was left to nurse all those people and give them care. It's more difficult for the women and girls by virtue of the societal expectations. Whereas if you, Robert, you get cancer and you are sick, I mean, you know it's given that your wife will be looking after you. Sometimes you don't even have to do anything. But for women, it's hard. We have another case which is in Mutare. This brings me to the point that is Second Chance. We also source for resources that are needed by people that are recovering from cancer, or that have survived, or that are still suffering from cancer. Currently, we have managed to get a commode for a patient. We managed to mobilize resources to get some colostomy bags for a lady in Mutare. I saw her on social media, and she had surgery for colon cancer, and the wound was left open. She didn't have colostomy bags, and she was saying sometimes she gets infections. But when you look at it, the society around here could not really see that she has got a need. Why am I saying this? She also lost her husband. She's a widow now. The community actually stole from her the equipment that she was using for gardening. So it meant she has got no financial support at all, and she's got small children going to school. That's when Second Chance comes in to offer psychosocial support, give hope after and during adversity. As Second Chance, we require funding to set up a center to offer psychosocial support. After the oncologist, the physician, the surgeon, the GP have seen the patient, because they are overwhelmed, they can then be referred to Second Chance and all other relevant organizations to come and get psychosocial support. We want a holistic approach, so what is required is enough funding to make sure that we can also empower cancer survivors, for them to move on by making sure that they get training for sustainability, to manage their businesses, and so that they can also go back into the mainstream of employment. There are courses that they can do, or during the season when they are on chemotherapy, for those who are stronger, because I remember I used to have a lot of muscle tremors soon after my chemotherapy. But there was a colleague that we used to sit close to each other, and she would come for chemo, and after chemo she would go back to work. It means that kind of a person can actually get life skills while she's on training, so that while she's on treatment, so that thereafter she can still be absorbed by the society and move on. And also funding to make sure that we reach out, especially to the least of our communities. I mean, we are talking about psychosocial support with Dr. Nyakabau here. A person in the rural areas doesn't even know that there's psychosocial support. Psychosocial support is just, most of the time is finding someone to talk to, being given hope, to say, maita cancer asimunurapika. That's the first port of call. Like what the doc said, it's not a death sentence. It can be treated. So we also would love to raise awareness, to do awareness campaigns, trainings, many other activities as we complement each other with Cancer Safe. Doc said their thrust is to train the healthcare professionals, and ours is to focus on the community, on the survivors and the people that are going through cancer, their caregivers, their families, and their communities. What I've realized is that with cancer, when I have cancer, my whole community is impacted, from my church to my neighbor, to my colleague at work, to my family, my immediate family. Everybody is affected. How do we handle this situation? Offer psychosocial support to heal people emotionally, psychologically, and emotionally, while the doctors do the physical healing. I'll give you an example. When we had an outreach with Cancer Safe in Karanda about a year ago. When we got there, these doctors, when they get to a place and they want to treat people, Robert, Dr. Nyakabau was no longer our friend. As soon as we disembarked from the bus, straight away she went into the wards. She needed to make sure that with the other colleagues, other doctors that we had gone with, they wanted to make sure that they maximize with the time that they had to treat as many people as possible. Our site was set up on the side, offering psychosocial support, counseling people, because there were quite a number of us. We had gone through cancer, we had survived cancer. And this complementary role of different organizations, it helps us to manage issues that relate to cancer and all other health conditions that are challenging in our communities. Therefore, I would want to say Second Chance is seeking for funders. Like I would want to reiterate the fact that we also offer other services in kind, mobilizing resources like Comodares. Doc knows that someone has got breast cancer. It will move and go to the back, and that person ends up not even moving. So we do, for example, currently we have what we call a diaper drive, where we are requesting the public to donate adult diapers. Because when someone falls sick, initially they will be able to be getting around, but eventually, especially the last days, the person is bedridden, they can't use the toilet, so we need what are called Comodares. We need those medical beds, dogs, so that when they are released to go home, there's one particular person that Second Chance is working with currently. She was complaining that she feels very dizzy because she spends the whole day sleeping without being elevated. Whereas when you're in hospital, there are those elevating beds. So if we can get donations for medical beds, that would then say if a patient has been discharged by the oncologist to say, we are done with chemotherapy, you can go and recuperate from home. Those who offer palliative care, they offer palliative care. They are comfortable, they have a bed, they have a commodore, they have diapers, they have colostomy bags, they've got walking frames. It makes life easier for the caregiver.
And what kind of advice would you give a woman or family members that are watching right now who has a cancer patient at home? Some of them, the patient or the family members, have lost hope. They're just saying, Tamirira.
My advice is cancer is not a death sentence. Like any other disease, you'll be surprised. Dr. Nyakaba always gets surprises where a patient comes, probably even at stage 4, doc, but that person will survive and even surpass someone who didn't even have cancer in terms of the years that they survive. There's power in a positive mind in all the people, the patient, the caregivers, the family, the community. Be positive and understand that cancer is treatable. Practice good health-seeking behaviors. Doc spoke about the fact that patients come when they've already presented with blood, when they see blood. I'm one of the culprits. By the time I went to the doctor, I could see blood, but I had not been well for a long time. So let's seek medical help as quickly as possible. When you don't have funds to get treated, it's not a sign of weakness to ask others to help you. That typical example I gave of a woman in Mutare, Sister Agnes took the colostomy bags for her to Mutare. Just yesterday I delivered them at the convent there. She went to the public and said, I don't have colostomy bags. If you don't have, there's nothing wrong in asking. And Cancer Save and the Second Chance alike, we are looking for donations from people that can donate to the public. The other point is that it is of paramount importance to understand the treatment of cancer. Myths and misconceptions. Ukapiswa unofa. Hapana panombopiswa munhu. Doc explained that they treat you intravenously. Let's not scare each other. When it comes to the use of alternative medicines, I would encourage people to go to get the conventional treatment first. And if you have to take anything else, let it be complementary or you take it in form of food. Let's remember that plants are medicines. It's either you take plants as medicines or you will be treated by them in another form, which might actually have side effects. critically, let's watch our diets. Fatty foods will kill you. Let's change our diets. And when we have someone who is sick at home, let's remember that this person is already stressed. Let's give them love, compassion, and care.
As we conclude, second chance, what is your message to someone who is watching right now during this October month?
October month is breast cancer month. A second chance, we encourage women to do what is called personal breast check on a monthly basis. And if they notice that they have a problem, they should sort counseling. They can even call us on 0773 375 029. We counsel them. We offer psychosocial support. And for everything that is medical about the way they will be feeling, they should seek help from the medical personnel, the doctors, or go to the nearest clinic, at least go to the nearest clinic. And it is of paramount importance to watch your diet, exercise, good sleep, rest, continue with a positive mind all the time.
If you could give them your contact details again.
Our contact details, you can get us on 0773 375 029. That's our phone number. And we also have an Instagram page and a Facebook page where they can also react to the posts that we put up or contribute anything that they would want to contribute or ask questions. Then we'll respond to them.